On Valentines Day, 1982, the largest semi-submersible oil rig in the world, the Ocean Ranger, is battered by a ferocious storm off the rugged east coast of Canada. After 12 hours, the giant rig topples. And 84 men face a desperate struggle for survival. This is the anatomy of the Ocean Ranger disaster. How a seemingly unsinkable marvel of technology disappeared. Taking the hopes and dreams of a community with her. It is a story of arrogance and complacency, told through the findings of 2 inquiries, the recollections of eyewitnesses, and the memories of those whose loved ones fought for their lives in the icy waters of the North Atlantic. (1982). The price of crude oil is near an all-time high. Higher prices mean higher rewards for those who search for oil. Their quest leads to the huge oil deposits beneath the floor of the North Atlantic. 170 miles off Newfoundland, Canada, are the Grand Banks, home of the Hibernia oil fields. The Ocean Ranger is one of 3 rigs on an exploratory mission seeking Hibernia's untapped wealth. A 1977 film produced by the rig's owner, Odeco, promotes the Ocean Ranger as a technological marvel.
The Ocean Ranger, the world's largest, most technically proficient, self-propelled, semi-submersible drilling platform, is a product of 10
Built
years.
in Japan 6 years earlier, at a cost of $125 million US, the Ocean Ranger has already served in the Gulf of Alaska and the North Sea. The giant rig is built to withstand 100-mile-an-hour winds and 110-foot waves.
The Ocean Ranger, now drilling in the Gulf of Alaska, is the most advanced semi-submersible in existence.
By February 1982, the Ocean Ranger is marking its 2nd winter off the Newfoundland coast. These are deadly waters. Fog, ice, and hurricane storms have claimed over 7,000 ships since Newfoundland was discovered in 1497. The water is shallow, only 260 feet deep below the rig. Waves crash against the continental shelf and become amplified. At 400 feet long, 260 feet wide, and 340 feet high, the Ocean Ranger is larger than a football field and taller than the depths of the ocean beneath her. She is considered unsinkable. More than half of the 84 men who work on the Ocean Ranger are Newfoundlanders. For the people of Canada's poorest province, the Ocean Ranger provides a rare chance to make decent wages. Anne-Marie Toohey's husband, Mel Freed, is the rig supply manager.
I don't think there were a lot of jobs around at the time, you know, and the jobs on the rigs, they paid well. They were hard to get.
And it was the grail to get good work offshore in the oil boom that was happening in the 1980s. It was everybody's dream job.
For teenager Greg Tilley, the rig offers a bright future.
He might have gotten close to $1,000 a week. I know he came in and he had all kinds of plans and dreams about what he was going to do and what he was going to buy out of all of his money.
The Ocean Ranger holds promise for many Americans as well. Men like Robert Hicks of South Carolina.
He didn't want to work at the shipyard and be gone down there so much he wouldn't see the children. So he said this way, he could go to work like 28 days and be home with them, and he'd be able to spend more time with them.
The men of the Ocean Ranger know bad weather, but they also believe the rig can take it.
I've been in some high seas situations where the winds may have reached, gusted to 60, 70 miles an hour, and where the seas were 40 to 50 feet. The rig itself seemed to handle it well, and nobody seemed overly concerned.
It was a little tiny pinprick on the ocean. I saw it from the helicopter, and I couldn't believe it, But then, of course, as the helicopter loomed up, this thing became this monolith, this huge, massive structure. Very imposing once you're on board it. It is big, but you're dealing with the ocean, which is way bigger.
Another oil rig, called the Zapata Ugland, is stationed 19 miles north of the Ocean Ranger. Derek Norman is the weather observer aboard.
The main responsibilities that I had as an ice weather observer was to collect weather data for the marine purposes, sea states, things that would affect the rig, deliveries to the rig, that sort of thing. Aviation weather, things that pilots need to know in order to land helicopters on the rigs.
The Ocean Ranger is a city at sea. Supply ships deliver drilling equipment, food, and medical supplies, with one vessel always standing by in case of an emergency. On February 14, 1982, that support ship is the Seaforth Highlander, under Captain Ronald Duncan. Eric Reese was a crewman on the Highlander.
You work on a supply boat, there's always something different, like backing into a rig or something like that when it's a bit rough and that, and water beating over top of her, and it was enjoyable.
Aboard the Ocean Ranger, power and responsibility are shared in a complex hierarchy. Foreman Jack Jacobson, the representative of Mobil Oil, the company that leases the rig, is officially in charge. The rig's captain, Clarence House, coordinates all marine-based activities, such as moving from one location to another. But drilling supervisor Kent Thompson, known as the tool pusher, makes all the decisions concerning the drilling operation and has the real authority. On land, Merv Graham is Mobil's drilling superintendent, coordinating and overseeing the rig's activities. Work aboard the rig is demanding, an average of 21 consecutive 12-hour days, followed by 3 weeks off. But the men quickly become accustomed to the routine and the comfortable living conditions. There's even a pool table on board. Pat Ryan recalls the day her son Craig left in February 1982.
Well, I didn't drop him off. I had a bad back, and he just yelled out to me in the morning at 6:30. He said, "Mom, I'm on my way." I said, "Okay, see you in 3 weeks." And off he went.